Here we are back at it again with another episode of Chattin with Chase. We're here with the one, the only. You know her as Philly Food and Bar. I know her as Amanda. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me in your beautiful home.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. We worked hard on this. Shout out to the insurance who fixed this all up. We'll get to that at a later date. Maybe. How are you? How are you today?
Living the dream, having a great final day of 2023.
Yeah, right. We're recording this on New Year's Eve. So to anybody watching it now, we hope that your 2024 is going to be absolutely incredible, filled with great Philly food and bars that maybe we can go out to. So let's jump right into it. Philly food and bars. What's it about? Like fill us in. Where did it come from? What stemmed from? What was the inspiration behind you becoming a food influencer?
So I've always loved food, going to places. Really, shout out to Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
Always been really big into Food Network. Like, I can't cook for anything. Burnt toast is a specialty of mine.
Wow. Okay.
So
that's strong in the cooking game.
You know, it takes an expert
Yeah.
to just ruin something that simple. So in my full-time job, I had a boss, and him and I would always talk about food. He'd be like, "Have you heard of this place?"
Ooh.
I'd be like, "Have you heard of this place?"
Mm.
We'd try different things in the area. And so he retired. I was heartbroken when he
Sure.
retired. But he told me that for years he worked as a mystery shopper.
Ooh.
And he would sign up on this website, go to different restaurants, and like write little reviews on
Sure.
the food for like the company that owned the restaurant.
Mhm.
And he was like, "You'd be great at it." So I was like, cool. So I actually signed up at the end of 2019. 2020 was the pandemic. And then you were supposed to only be able to do one place like a year, but because there weren't a lot of people, I was able to get in so much more frequently. So I was going to a lot of the same places, and I was going to places that I wouldn't have necessarily been able to afford.
Right. Was this company that you signed up for sending you to all of these places?
Yes.
Or, okay, so you didn't pick and choose. They sent you.
Yeah, they had like different lists you could pick from.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of them were in the Philly area, like a lot of the Fearless restaurants, like the Mooshaloo.
Never been.
Never
been.
Out of all of the Fearless places, I would definitely say White Dog was consistently my favorite.
Been there.
Yeah.
That's a good spot.
Great spot.
So was there one when you were going through these lists? What was like the first one? What? Let me rephrase this. When you were going through this list, was it the very first one that you went to, or was there a first restaurant where you were like, "I want to do this. That's it. I'm an influencer now."
So they had pretty specific rules. Like when I would go to these places, like they'd be like, "Okay, we want you to order an appetizer, 2 entrees, a dessert. You could spend up to this dollar amount.
Okay.
You could spend alcohol. You could spend money on alcohol. You could not spend money on alcohol." It kind of depended. And as I like honed my skills into writing these things, because I'd have to be like, at 6:52, we walked into the restaurant. We were greeted by host number 1. Host number 1 had blonde hair, was 5'6". At 6:53, we were sat at our table. So it was very like
Super detailed.
but also like not my opinion.
Right.
Right? So like the only part that I really got to give my opinion was about the food. Did I like it? Well, first I had to describe like if it came out hot,
Mhm.
if it was visually appealing, and then I would say like if I liked it or what I didn't like. So as I like got into that, I was just like, I don't really want to type up like everything that happened during this meal.
Sure.
So I'm literally on my phone like 7:03, they brought our Coca-Cola to the table.
Kind of takes the mystery part of it. Like, be like, oh,
They
okay.
definitely knew.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
after a while, especially because again I was going to the same spots,
Mhm.
and they were like, "Oh, they told us that the chef's niece was at this table." I'm like, "Oh shit, they know."
Yeah. It's like they
know.
knew everything that was going on. So when did it go from, hey, I'm writing this down, 7:52, they brought the final plate of the night, to, all right, I'm starting Philly Food and Bar? And like, where did that inspiration come from?
So, well, my last name is Bar, so that kind of works out,
Sure.
you know. Naturally, I had a bunch of like bar-themed nicknames in high school: Barstool, Chocolate Bar, ha 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 ha, you know. So, at like the best part of doing the mystery shopping with friends was that we got to go to these more upscale places and not have to worry about paying, because
Right.
anything I put out would be reimbursed to me by that company once
Okay.
my report was submitted. So as I got more interested in like the different food scenes and going to these different places, I started following different food influencers.
Was there one that really stuck out to you, like the first one where you're like, wow, you're my mentor now, unknowingly?
Unknowingly, it was Lizzie from Lower Marion Foodie.
Yes.
I loved her account.
Shout out to you, Lizzie.
And she knows, like, I've definitely told her, like, how she definitely inspired me. So I was always like, this doesn't look that hard.
Right.
I can totally do this. I'm already kind of doing it.
Yeah.
You know, because I had to take pictures of the food to submit along with my report. And I was just like, I can totally do this. So for a while, I was like toying with the idea, and I'm like, I think I could like play it off my last name. I think I could do like Philly
Yeah.
Food and Bars, right?
Which does work so exceptionally well.
So, I mean, you know, sometimes it just writes itself.
Yeah, seriously.
So I would like mention it to friends, like, oh, I think I kind of want to start this. And like everybody was like, yeah, you should do it. And I realized I was the only one holding myself back. Like I was the only one filled with the doubt that I couldn't do it. And then I was just like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to start.
Yeah.
So we started in March of 21. And it was just anytime I went out, I'd be like, can I take a picture of that? My friends are like, I guess, you know.
Yeah, the camera eats first.
Camera eats first. And then I want to say in like October of 21 is when I started trying to like post more consistently, like at least once a day. I had an Instagram for years. I mean, Instagram, always loved pictures, always loved doing like taking pictures with friends and stuff. But like this was like the first time trying to like get people to like follow me or listen to what I have to say or whatever. And in March of 22, I will never forget, I was at my full-time job. I don't have Instagram notifications on for my own mental health.
Sure.
Like I can't see it.
Right.
It drives me crazy.
Okay.
And I was on my break and I like opened it up and I had a DM from a place like, we want you to come out. And I was like,
It's happening.
I've made it.
Yeah.
I'm important now. Like
what was the place, if you don't mind sharing?
it was Distrito
Okay.
in like the West Philly, like kind of near Drexel area.
Yeah.
I think it's closed now,
Sure.
but it was owned by Chef Jose Garces. And again, I told you I was like really into Food Network. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
It went full circle.
Yeah,
So
like,
quickly, too.
Yeah. So that was the first place that asked me. And then my first PR company reached out to me in October of 22. And in 22, I think Philly Food and Bars, one of my best friends called it PFAB.
Okay. Yeah.
So I at first mocked her. I was like, that's a terrible nickname.
Sure.
Now every single one of my captions ends with, tell him PFAB
Tell 'em
said it.
say it, yeah.
And she is just like, do you remember you used to mock me?
Yeah.
Like, maybe.
Now it's your tagline.
Now it's my tagline.
I mean, sometimes things just stick, right? I didn't think that "let's give it a shot" was going to be a thing, but here we are. And every time I hear it, no matter if it's on TV, the radio, I'm like, that's me.
TM at the end of that.
Yeah, seriously. I did want to ask, because you had mentioned that you had gotten the nickname at some point of Bad Influence Bar. So talk us down that little street of how that came about and what that means.
So notoriously in my friend group, I'm kind of the idea friend.
Okay.
Like I'm the one who's like, we should go here, guys. We should do this. I'm not really that big of a drinker. I try to be very responsible. Like if I'm out, if I'm driving, I won't drink.
Sure.
But if I do drink, I'm that friend who's like, do you want to do a shot? And like you turn around and there's like 10 shots on the table and you're like, there's only 4 of us. How to get like this? Yeah. Traditionally, my friends and I celebrate Christmas Eve. Like that is when everybody's in town. My cousin's in from Florida. We just go bar hopping. We just like go drinking.
Yeah, you got one gear and that gear's go.
It's what Jesus would have wanted, I think.
He kept the party going. He turned the water into wine.
Exactly.
So you don't got to convince me.
So we started drinking Rumplemints, which like if you...
Oh my God, it's like drinking a candy cane on steroids.
It's pretty much like that.
Yeah.
So I would like every place we went, I would buy us Rumplemans.
You are a bad influence. Oh my God.
And pretty much my friend Steve was just like, oh my God, it's BIB. It's Bad Influence Bar. She's
love
out
that.
to play.
Oh man, you could create an entire separate Instagram about that.
My friends actually have joked about making one called PFAB Exposed.
I
and
love
it's
it.
just all the crazy things that I like
There it is.
ruin their lives with.
Just influence their lives. It's complete.
No one took the shot for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It was just there.
they have the opportunity to say yes or no. You're just influencing opportunities. Nothing more than that. Wow. So that's how I thought it was going to be. Like somebody left a negative review and was like, "I went to this place, it was awful. She should be bad influence." That's a much better story.
Yeah.
I like
no,
that a
it's
lot
just
more.
me being a bad influence when I drink.
With Rumplemans. Oh my goodness gracious. So you just celebrated 20,000 followers at the time of this filming, but now you're already about to close in on 23,000. Like you work harder than any other influencer, content creator, whatever you want to call it, that I've ever seen. Like,
It's really
how do
nice of
you
you.
find the time, and like what works best for you with managing the amount of posting? Because you are nonstop. It's impressive with the amount that you post, but then also the amount of support that you give to like your followers and the people that are on your feed. Like, talk me through that philosophy for you, but more importantly, talk me through the time management.
Okay, so there was a point in August of 22 where I was trying to like every single post, and I got myself banned from Instagram for 1 week. I couldn't post, I couldn't tag, I couldn't like, I couldn't comment. And I was like, oh my God, I just built all this stuff and people were just reaching out to me and I almost ruined it. So I decided to be a lot more conservative with my likes and comments and everything. And I was like, I'm going to focus as much as I can on just other creators because I know how hard it is personally to like get that engagement. So I'm like, if I can give that to somebody else, then that's what I want to do. That's what I'm going to focus on. Time management. So I kind of have specific times that I want to post every day. I want to post before like 10 a.m. And then if I'm doing a second post, I want to post before 4 p.m.
Okay.
I've just found that for me, those times work out best for my own personal engagement. And I didn't go to school for social media. I took a couple communications classes, but like I graduated high school or college in 2014. So like nothing about Instagram or like algorithms or any of that was out there. So everything was just a really big learning curve and it was trial and error. So I worked out with those times and then I'm fortunate to like have a job that I can step away for a few minutes and I'll just go through and like everything like that I see other creators do. And then I'll just come back to it later. And try to just I've also found, so you know how you can have favorites?
Yes.
So I keep all my favorite creators as favorites.
Smart.
So that I never miss their stuff.
Yeah. So
what was the second part of that question?
No, I think it was the time management and then just your philosophy of that. But I think you kind of hit on it of like just looking at your analytics and seeing what works best for you. But I do want to go back to the work thing. Like, how are they with that? Because I'm sure you've gotten to a point where you know, you start the Instagram off and people are like, oh, Amanda does Instagram. This is pretty cool. And now maybe some of your colleagues are like, wow, Amanda does Instagram. So like, are they supportive? Do they know about it? Is it still kind of like this hidden gem that some people know about?
So I will say my department, a lot of my department does follow me. Up until about 10K, I wasn't really talking about it too much at work. And then after my 10K party that I had, a few friends actually tagged me on LinkedIn. I don't have any of my Philly Food and Bar stuff on LinkedIn.
Sure.
But suddenly, all these people from work saw that I had this Instagram. And they were like coming up to me like, oh my God, this is crazy. And
I had no idea.
The older generation, like I have it linked to my Facebook because my mom doesn't have Instagram, so this way she can see it. So they'd be like, oh, I don't have Instagram. I'd be like, here's the Facebook link. And then these older people that I work with would be like, oh my God, you post about this place. I'm going with my girlfriends. Like, I can't wait to tell you what I think. And actually, after the LinkedIn post, my CEO saw me and was like, I don't really follow people from work. And I was like, don't worry, I'm not going to follow you back.
Right.
But she follows me. And like, we just hired a bunch of people and she was walking them around. And she's like, this is Amanda. She's famous. She has an Instagram. I'm like, oh, thank you. And like,
Your words, not mine.
I mean, however you want to introduce me.
Yeah.
The 20K cake was actually a coworker of mine.
Oh, okay.
Who she owns she has like, a little home bakery on
Okay.
the side. And
Shout them out. Who is it?
Natalie, thank you so much. La Dulce Bakery. And yeah, she was like kind enough. Like once I had a couple videos blowing up, she's like, I can have this ready in like a week. And I was like, I think it's gonna be less than a week.
Yeah.
We were literally like at my desk, like refreshing my Instagram,
Yeah.
like waiting for it to hit. And she had it ready like 2 days later too. So it was really, really nice of her.
How does that feel? Like when you see those videos blowing up and you see that engagement going up. I had one of my buddies, Dan, who huge TikTok following, very strong Instagram following. He's a coffee roaster out in Ohio, had said to me one time when doing a TikTok live, I said something along the lines of like, look, I love making videos because it's entertaining for me. It's a creative outlet. It's cathartic without a doubt. And he's like, no, yeah, that's great. He goes, I enjoy that too. He goes, but in the same sense, I'm not making videos for people not to watch them. He's like, so when they watch them, that's, why I care about the views and the engagement. When you're jumping up as quickly as you are, like, what is that feeling? Is it one of that's just like euphoria of like, yeah, here we are? Is it one that's just reinforcement of like, this is why I do what I do? Is it something else?
I will tell you, like the one milestone that I hit this year that like really made me feel like, wow, like this is crazy. So this place in Yardley reached out to me and they were like, we'd love for you to bring your entire family. And I was like, you get asked to do things are usually like a +1, and that's extremely generous, so kind. But when I finally was able to take my parents and my brother and they like were able to see like not just what I do, but like the owners were coming up and being like, we love your stuff. And that was like a real like, wow, like this isn't just something that like, hey, can I take a picture of your food? Because I think that's what they still thought I was doing. And I think for them, this was like a moment like now my dad is like, I pulled aside these thing in the Inquirer about these new restaurants that are opening. Do you already know about this? And I was like, yeah, Dad, I do. You know what I mean? Like, it was nice to like, I feel an immense sense of personal pride. Like as somebody, there's a lot of like negative stuff out there on the internet. It's hard to kind of weed it through. But like just feeling like, wow, I did this, I accomplished this. But like, it was nice to like have my parents be there and like feel that they were also really proud of me too.
Yeah, I got goosebumps as you were talking about that because I think it's like you had said it perfectly. There's that moment where your friends, your family see what you're doing and it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. But then to see the background that goes into it and see the appreciation that these business owners have. And this is one thing when I go into some of these restaurants or some of these businesses, and it sounds like from just the interactions that I've had with some business owners, you do it as well, just because they've relayed that information. But like, I'm not in there to go and just review the food, maybe collect a paycheck and go, all right, see ya, I'm out. I want to get to know the story. I want to get to know the family. I want to get to know the process because all of that, like you had mentioned, there's so much negativity on there. I'm not in there to leave a bad review. I'm in there to help try to get an additional customer through the door. I'm trying to get them a return on investment. And I think knowing that and understanding that and getting to know the story of a business helps us tell that story so much better, so much easier. But to have the family see that and for them to finally get it like, wow, I think like my kid is like a local celebrity. This is wild.
That'd be nice once I actually get to that point. I'll let you know if I ever reach that point.
I don't know. I mean, especially within the restaurant industry, like I think that holds a lot of weight of you're going out there and you're helping these businesses to where people are like, oh, I saw the PFAB review, and I'm here because of you.
When I first started, I was like, I'm not going to put my face on my Instagram. And as time went on, I met more influencer friends, more content creator friends, and they would want to take group pictures. And I love pictures. I always love pictures,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, for my personal Instagram. And then it kind of grew into, how can I go to a facial place and not show my own face?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not to the point where I'm like taking bites on camera yet. But, you know, maybe one day I'll give it a shot, but not yet.
Give it a shot.
But as I like showed my face a little bit more this year, mostly in stories, but in a couple videos, I went to a place a couple weeks ago and somebody was like, "You're Amanda from Philly Food and Bars." And I was, "Oh my God, what?" And he was like, "I've followed you for years. I have loved your account since you did Oh Jungs 2 years ago." And I was like, "Oh my God." He's like, "I'm obsessed with you." I was like, "That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me." I was like near tears and thinking to myself, "Oh my God, I'm so cool now. I am so cool. I've just made it." And I promptly turned around and fell right into a table. And I was like, we'll hold off on that cool thing maybe for a little bit longer.
Everything keeps you humble, right?
So humbling.
Yeah.
It was such a kind moment. Immediately followed by my own klutz. It was just so inherently me.
It's okay. I'll let that guy know she's real. She's a real one. She's authentic. She's genuine.
He didn't even laugh. It was so nice.
So on the flip side, and I only say this because I had somebody recently who came up to me and was like, "You owe me $30 because you sent me to 2 bad places." And I won't name the places because I stand by those reviews. I'm going to name the places. It was Berardi Brothers. Guy told me that Berardi Brothers wasn't good, and I was ready to have an argument with him. So
I would have backed you up.
Yeah, I was ready to have an argument with him. And you know what? I get it. You can't be 100% all the time. It happens. But a guy came out, and he said it in jest, but he's like, "You owe me $30 for Berardi Brothers." And I was like, I was furniture shopping for this couch when it was happening. Anywho.
It was the salesman.
He was the salesman. So if you're watching this, that is
he added $30 to the price of your couch.
He did,
actually.
right? Yeah. I'm going to say your name is Brian. It might not be, but Brian, if you're watching this, I don't say that to poke fun at you. I thought that was funny. So I'm still not giving you the $30 though.
Sorry,
However,
Brian, doesn't work out all.
have you had an experience like that where somebody's DM'd you or come up to you and be like, "Why did you send me here? This place stinks."
Yes. So I had a video go like insane viral, like 500,000 views, which is like the most I ever had.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And it was this place in New Jersey, and it was relatively new, and it was a brunch. Like they wanted me to promote their brunch. I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say the drinks were my favorite, honestly, but the food I thought was decent.
Yeah.
And I talked to a South Jersey influencer, and she told me that it had previously been kind of a dive bar. The drinks were really cheap. The food was really bad, but the people went because it was a nice place to watch the games and stuff. And then when it closed and this place opened and like the prices increased and all this stuff, people didn't like it anymore. So that video went viral because people were absolutely trashing it. And people were DMing me like, this place is so bad. I can't believe blah, blah. And like the place, the restaurant ended up reaching out to me to ask me to turn off comments. They were like, your video is doing great. And there were just as many nice comments like, "Oh my God, tag, we should go here. Oh my God, have you seen this, blah, blah." But there were just as many like people who were trashing it. And I didn't think that the justification was there. I think I agreed with the South Jersey friend. And it's the only time I've ever turned off comments because they've asked me to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, business is bringing out, you know, kind of got to respect.
I feel like most people, like, at least when I go through Reels and TikToks and stuff, I don't really look at comments. I'll like formulate my own opinion.
Yeah. Unless there's like a sexy one that pops up and you're like, "Ooh, let me dive deeper into these ones."
Or like if it says like drop something in the comment, I'll kind of look and see what people are saying. But like for the most part, if it's like, you know, you do a food place or Lizzie does a food place or Penny or PJ or anybody else who's like opinions I actually like really matter, I'm going to watch your video for you because I care about what you have to say because I know that I'm going to, you know, I like your content anyway. I like you as a person. I don't really care what anybody else has to say about it, you know? And also, I'm like the first one who comments on your stuff, so I don't have time to go back later.
As soon as I see those emoji clap hands come through, I was like, boom, made it. Like, we're good. Amanda saw it. We're good.
No, nobody else matters.
No one else matters. I'm kidding. You all matter. Please like, comment, subscribe. With that though, it's always funny, especially when a new place opens up in a spot that has been such a neighborhood legend for so long. how the community is going to react. And I was just talking, we just did a podcast with DJ Tonka and Johnny from Johnny's Pizza in Bryn Mawr, and they took over a pizza shop that had been there for a very long time on the main line. And I asked Johnny, I said, how was it when you got here? Like, welcome with open arms? And he goes, no, not at all. And some of the people for the cheesesteak video I just did for them were still commenting, saying, I forget what the old pizza shop name was, but they're like, oh, it's not so-and-so. And it's like,
you don't actually have anything negative to say about this
Yeah.
business. You just want to make it known
Yeah.
you're unhappy that a new one's there.
I've been here for so long and it's been different. And to your point, there is so much negativity, and I'll get sometimes, somebody messaged me the other day and said, bro, your videos are entertaining, but they're not honest because you don't ever leave a bad review. I'm like, well, that logic's faulty. It's like, just because you don't see things that I don't like doesn't mean that all the rest of these are dishonest. So do you ever get, because you put a lot of positivity in this world, especially for local businesses and local business owners. Like, have you ever been hit with one of those of like, where's the bad review? And people are just like dying for it for some reason.
I guess, honestly, like, let's say I go to a place and try 5 dishes. If I only like 3, those are the only 3 that's going to make it into my video.
So you kind of leave yourself a buffer for that. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I don't like, just because I didn't like it doesn't mean that you're not going to like it. Like, we all have different tastes. You know what I mean? Like, are you familiar with TikToker Keith Lee at all?
Mm-hmm. Oh, who isn't?
I mean,
Yeah.
I love the guy. And
Right.
he always does his disclaimer, like, this is my taste buds. This is my personal feelings. Like, I have my own salt level.
Mhm.
He famously doesn't like sweet things. You know what I mean? Like, I think as long as you're honest with your audience about, like, hey, I don't love sushi,
Mhm.
but I still did a sushi omakase because I wanted to try it.
Right.
And it was a great experience. My best friend loved it. He ended up eating like half of mine too because
That
like,
good.
it's just a texture thing for me.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean that sushi's bad. It just means it's not my favorite food.
Right.
I'll take a good cheeseburger over a sushi omakase any day.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, something to be said about a good cheeseburger, though. Where's your favorite cheeseburger?
Man, so Punk Burger
Ooh.
on Passyunk.
Good old passion, cuz.
They have a burger with fried mozzarella sticks and really good marinara sauce.
What?
And I'm like a
Talk
sucker.
me through. I'm gonna close my eyes. Like, talk me through the marinara. Is it savory?
It's a
Is it
little
sweet?
chunky, tiny bit chunky.
Just like me.
You know, like it's like good, like grandma's chunky tomato
Rustic.
sauce.
Yeah.
Like just the right amount of fresh herbs in that. Little sweet, but still pretty savory. Goes so good with the mozzarella sticks. It's like insane. And that burger is so juicy, cooked to like a perfect medium. Insane. Like consistently one of the best burgers I've had.
I gotta go. That sounded awesome.
I've never had anything bad from Punk Burger.
Yeah, I honestly I've never heard of them. I don't make my way to Passyunk that often, but it sounds phenomenal. And again, who doesn't like a chunky tomato sauce?
Mm-hmm.
But going back to Keith Lee, love his videos. I think he does a great job. But it's just, that's one of the reasons why I don't like leaving negative reviews, is because you've seen the backlash that businesses have gotten. And it's not necessarily Keith Lee's fault. Sure, he has a hand in that. Like, there's some of it is his
You're
responsibility.
responsible for what you put on the internet, but
Mhm.
you're not responsible for how people react to what you put on the internet.
Mhm.
Like, I put a video out there. I'm not telling people good. Like, I'm telling them, tell them PFAB sent you if you go. Like, but not like you should absolutely get what I got. Like, I really liked it. I'm not saying that it's for everybody. It's definitely for me.
Mhm.
You know. And here's why I liked it. Here's why I think you should support this business. But like the negative comments, like, people can leave or get into, like, oh my God, it's so terrible. I will tell you, like, I don't really respond to the negative comments. I'll just leave it because engagement's engagement. That's
Yeah,
fine.
thanks, baby. Keep them coming. Yeah.
Thank you.
The
you know?
algorithm just sees it as another comment.
So, but I will tell you the one comment that really stuck with me.
Mhm.
Somebody commented one time, the way that she talks, she sounds like she's from Delco. I was shook to my core. I was never so insulted in my life.
Yeah.
I was like, I am born and raised in Northeast Philly. I might not have like that deep South Philly accent,
Yeah.
but I sure do not sound like I am from Delco.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here because also being born and raised in Northeast Philly, I have said this so many times. I think that Northeast Philly and Delco are cousins. So if you talk to somebody that's from Parkwood and you talk to somebody that is from Delco, can't tell a difference. I can't tell a difference. You get the, yo, Kaj, what's up? Here we are. We're going to go hang out at Franklin Mills. Or somebody could say the same line and be like, yo, Kaj, we're going to go hang out on McDade Boulevard. I don't know if you're from Northeast Philly or from Delco. Honestly, I would take
the
it.
inflections.
I would take it as a term of endearment. We're going to have the Delco King, Mikey Nelling, on here. We just got to figure out a time, but I can't wait to listen to that podcast back. I love the Delco accent. I don't know what it is. I love it. But again, I think Northeast Philly and Delco are cousins.
I think it's close, but there's a difference.
Yeah.
Like, yo, Mayor, you gonna watch the birds later today? You know, all right.
What's up, Mayor?
What's up, Mayor?
Mayor, get this for Christmas. He got me a Phillies glove.
Can you believe it, Mayor?
I don't know that woman's name who does that.
I know.
Skip, but she is hysterical.
I watch every single one.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. But no, there are definitely some comments that will stick with you. I try to respond to all of them just because it doubles the algorithm, but that's it. But yeah, that's the only thing that I'm not like a huge fan of Keith Lee for, is that he will put those negative reviews. They call it what it is. It's negative reviews, but that's his thing, and it works incredibly well. Now, you had mentioned Northeast Philly. Have you found, or are you biased towards trying to find hot spots in Northeast Philly? I know earlier before we started recording, you said there's a pizza shop that just has like a good cheesesteak that you'd like to go. So do you have a bias towards that? Because you're all over the place. So do you think you'll ever change the name from Philly Food and Bar to just Food and Bar?
Honestly, like, I love Philly. I love every neighborhood. I'm obviously very biased to the Northeast.
Same.
Not only because I'm from there, but because I feel like it gets very overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a ton of hidden gems in Northeast Philly, which honestly benefits me because I don't have to wait in line for anything.
Right.
I don't like my favorite sandwich shop in the Northeast. I can get a great sandwich in less than 15 minutes. Never have to wait.
What is it?
Northeast Sandwich Company.
Oh, let's go.
The best. Their South Philly cutlet, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hand breaded, sharp prove.
And they just opened up a new spot, right?
Northeast Pizza Company.
Yeah, I think you were telling me about that, but Northeast Sandwich Company used to be the owners of Blue Duck.
So
I know
one of the original partners was from Blue Duck.
Chris,
and then he left, I think.
Gotcha.
And now it's just
oh, okay.
yeah. Now I don't think any of the original Blue Duck people are involved.
Gotcha.
It's just this guy who
Okay.
has both shops.
But yeah, Northeast Sandwich Company has always been a little bit of a hidden gem right there on the corner. I had their Nashville hot chicken sandwich once before Nashville hot chicken really started taking over. Man, they told me, like, you're going to need a couple drinks for this one. And I was like, nah, I like spicy stuff. Was I wrong? You
got to go back for their breakfast bowls.
Okay, deal. We'll do a collab.
Yes.
We'll head out there. We'll do a collab.
Let's do it.
So, born and raised Philly, entire life. What's your go-to team?
Phillies.
Yeah?
I was at my first Phillies game at 3 weeks old.
What?
My dad was like, okay, she's old enough.
That's incredible.
I was literally like 7 pounds at a Phillies game. I don't even think they put any headphones on. My dad was just like, let's go.
And this was at the vet then, right?
Vet.
Yeah.
My dad had to change my diaper in the first aid station because they did not have folding tables in the men's bathroom at the vet. And my dad famously argued, like, would write letters, like, men have children too. They need to be able to change diapers. And my dad swears he's the reason they were installed.
I'm going to double down. I think that's also the reason. So, obviously, back-to-back years of a little bit of disappointment. Last year, I didn't think anybody, including myself, thought we were going to make that run to the World Series, and it was awesome to watch. This year, we get knocked out in the NLCS. What have been some of your favorite memories of this year? Because you went to the first game at 3 weeks old, but you've been to a game every year since you were born, right?
Every year.
So, like,
at least one, but I mean 5, 6, 7, 10 games a season.
Yeah, so Phillies, when you do your influencer night, we'd love to be on that list. We would love to get that custom jersey.
I love you.
We genuinely go to a lot of games. Not saying that other people didn't, but we are genuine Philly fans.
Since before Instagram.
It's before the overalls. But the overalls are cool.
The overalls are cool.
Shout out to you, Kat from Foco. But are there any games that you've been to that have really stuck out? Like, have you ever gone to a no-hitter or like a hit for the cycle game or like
I
anything?
actually went when we clinched this year.
Let's go.
To the playoffs.
Mhm.
I love my dad. He famously wants to leave every game by like the 7th inning stretch because he wants to beat traffic.
Yeah.
Okay. And most times I will indulge. Like,
Mhm.
hey, you paid for parking. Like, that's fine. This one, I was like, we're not leaving. And it went into the 10th, and he's like, how long are you going to give it? I'm like, the entire time. As long as it takes. I don't care if we're here all night, but I'm not missing. I'm not listening to it in the radio in your car. I'm going to be right here. And, oh, man, it was the newbie, the new guy.
Rojas.
He hit the bomb that threw everybody in, and we just lost it. My dad took his pictures. We celebrated for about a minute, and he's like, let's beat the crowd. Let's go now.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fine. Best of both worlds for me. I got to cry. I got to see it happen, and my dad got to still beat traffic.
Yeah. It was a win for the Phillies. It was a win for both of you guys. But no, that was a great game. Rojas, Pache on second, brings him home. Oh, I get chills just thinking about it. So there's something special about this crew too. Like the young kids, we're not bringing Reese back, which I know.
His bat slam.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching that and just like, yo, like,
yeah, I'm getting chills.
What a moment
Yeah.
that was. Like, that was just such a good, and like, the cups at the Phillies that they had that one of the games. I'm like, I'm buying a soda just so I can keep this.
We did that. I think we have most of the ones that came out this year. We have multiples of many. But no, I think there's so many iconic moments. The bat slam was great, but we went to the NLCS game 1 against Arizona this year when he threw out the first pitch and he's pointing at the Phillies P, and just like everybody in the stadium knows this is probably I'll get a chill. Like this is his final throw as a Philly, and it's so heartbreaking, but very excited going into spring training. What are your thoughts going into the year? Do you have any?
We're going all the way, baby. We're going. I don't care how delusional it makes me sound, but I'm going to support them. I'm going to go to like 1 or 2 games a month. I'm going to so every year, for the past several years, for Christmas, I buy my friends a game. So like 30 of us go to a game.
That's such a great gift.
It's a great gift because 1, nobody needs more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
2, everybody loves a day out. And 3, we tailgate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a good 5-hour tailgate. You're stumbling into the game. It's just a great time. And I really look forward to those moments with my friends. But as the Phillies have gotten going up and up and up, everybody gets more hype for that game because they're like, oh my God, this year we're going when Arizona's in town, and I want to see tears. I want to see them cry. I do not great uniforms. You guys suck.
Yeah. No, I'm so upset that they knocked us out. Tip the cap to them, but it was.
But not really.
Yeah, but not really. We still do want to jump in the pool. Just a heartbreak way to end it. But I got to ask the hard hitting question that everybody wants to know. This is a good looking team. A lot of great hair, a lot of great beards, a lot of good looking dudes. Who is the cutest / best looking Philly on this roster?
On this current roster.
I know who I got.
I'm a Kyle Schwarber fan.
Through
and through.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yep.
He is so cute. Man, this is a little embarrassing, but last season when he struck out and he threw the bat down, I think of that moment a lot.
Just gotcha.
Man, I was like, I could be that bad.
I am hot and bothered. I am hot and bothered by this bat.
I mean, listen, Bryce Harper has the great hair.
Sure.
Great hair. He's such a rugged looking dude. But it's just Schwarber for me through and through.
I mean, I've heard that a time or two in my life. As a fellow chunky bearded guy, I appreciate it. I take that as a compliment. It's like when Jason Kelce got Sexiest Man of the Year. I was like, well,
we're so close.
It's our moment. But for me, again, a lot of handsome studs on that team. The best looking guy, hands down, without a question, Also happens to be the best catcher in baseball, JT Realmuto.
He's a good looking dude.
Handsome fella. Just clean cut, all American man. Just handsome dude. Handsome dude in game, respects games. So JT, shout out to you, brother. So
You didn't ask me who the best one of all time was.
I was gonna work my way back a little bit. So let's go. Let's start at 2008 because you had mentioned you wanted to talk about the 2008 GOATs. Is the best looking guy of all time also in the 2008 GOATs?
Absolutely.
Did he happen to play the outfield?
He did not.
Who was he a pitcher? Was it Joe Blanton?
No.
I thought it was gonna be Joe Blanton.
Cole Hamels.
Cole, okay.
He is retiring from the Phillies on June 21st.
Mm-hmm.
I'm buying that ticket. I cannot wait to go to that game. He is a stud through and through. When he left the Phillies, part of me left Philadelphia too.
Part of you went to Texas with him.
Part of me went to Texas too.
Oh man, Cole! Wow. The only reason I said Joe Blanton is because my wife also loves Kyle Schwarber, and Kyle Schwarber, when he first got called up, looked a lot like Joe Blanton. Like it's eerie how similar those two look to me. But Cole Hamels, yeah, something about those Cali kids.
He had that great hair.
Yeah.
He was great looking. If you ask my mom, though, it's Pat Burrell.
Oh, Pat the Bat. What a stud.
I'll never forget, I was at a game, I think in like 06 or 07, and then the first inning, Pat missed like an easy catch.
Mm-hmm.
We were in his section because, of course, my mom loved him. We had to get tickets in his section. And the guys in front of us were like, Pat, stop looking at the girls, man. You're screwing up the game. Next at bat, Pat gets up, hits a home run. They're like, we always believed in you, Pat. You're the best. I'm like, I looked at my dad and he's like, Philadelphia fans.
I mean, that's a encompassing of what we do. We love negativity, and then we bounce right back to jump right
We're
back
the
into
only ones who can say anything bad about our teams.
That's true. That's very true. But Pat the Bat Burrell, man, what a guy driving on the horses, the Clydesdales, down the 2008 Broad Street Parade.
Mm-hmm.
What an iconic moment. So I have this always comes up, but like we are getting rid of the red jerseys. I call them spring training jerseys this year. What's your favorite Phillies colorway? Are you pinstripe, cream, or is it the powder blues?
Powder blue.
Right, they're clean.
Love the powder blue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I feel like they play their best in the powder blue for whatever reason.
Sure.
I don't know if that's actually a fact. Somebody can probably fact check me on that. But I think they play the best, and I think they look the best in the powder blue.
We might have to get some numbers on that one.
Let's pull it up.
But yeah, so who are you most excited for? Who do you think is going to have like not maybe a breakout season this year, but who's going to be the star of this team?
I think Stott.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Such an underrated player.
Seeing him like when he hit that grand slam.
I was at the game. Eruption.
Like, have you listened to like when they just pull out? It's only the fan audio. I still can't even listen to it.
Yeah.
I think that moment for him gave him such confidence that maybe he was lacking.
Mm-hmm.
I think he realized, like, you could kind of see it in his face. Like, before he turned and looked at anyone, he was looking out there and he, like, looked like, oh, my God, I did that. And I think that we can see more moments like that from him going into this because I think that gave him, like, I can do it. I don't need... Like, Bryce Harper does not need to be the hero of this team. We all are the hero of this team.
Yeah. It's cool to see the relationship between Bryce Harper and Stott, too. You know, two bros from Las Vegas just crushing it. So, how could you have a better mentor than Bryce?
Dumping water on them every game.
That's the best. The daycare.
The daycare.
Outside of Kyle Schwarber, because I have a feeling that would be the answer, who would be one Philly that you would love to do a food collaboration with?
Oh, man. I would love to do Kyle Schwarber, but
Same.
outside of him, past or present?
Let's do both. Let's start with present.
Okay. I feel like I gotta go Harper.
Yeah.
Like I would just love to sit down with him, 20 minutes, cup of coffee. Like let's get a selfie. Like tell me what you like in Philly. I'll tell you where to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Tell him PFAB sent you.
Tell him PFAB sent you. I would die.
PFAB and Harp. That's the collab that everybody needs.
You know what's crazy? Someone on the Eagles followed me recently, and I died.
Ooh, can you say who? Do you want to say who? You don't have to.
Boston Scott.
Ooh, the giant killer.
Yeah, I was like, check mark.
No way.
Okay, all right. Can you get like Donovan McNabb and like the other guy? Like,
Yeah.
come on, just send them.
Just get all of them.
Yeah, at Boston Scott, tell him PFAB sent you. You know what
I
mean?
love that. I love that. So, Bryce Harper, present of all time. Would it be Cole Hamels?
No,
Ooh.
Shane Victorino.
Oh, the Flying Hawaiian.
I
Shane.
loved him. He was a great player to watch, and I just feel like we would have a great time going out to eat somewhere.
Yeah, he seems just like all in all top tier guy.
100%.
Top tier fella. I know he did the thing with the Savannah Bananas. Like, so to still see him so much into the game is such a cool thing to see. But he seems to be on Instagram a lot, staying current. So
Yeah.
I think there might be an opportunity. Where would you take Harper and where would you take Victorino? Are they the same place or different place?
Oh man, we got to go to Angelo's on South Street. Like, just sit on the porch next to it and just have a cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine them in like a sit down place. Like, I'm sure they do, obviously.
Right.
But like, when I think of Philly, I think of like a neighborhood place that has like 3 seats inside, or you're going and eating at your car. And I just feel like that's one of the places I would want to go with him.
I think that would be iconic for a number of reasons. Angelo's one of the goats when it comes to pizza shops right now. And here's we talked about this before we started recording, but like you can always, before this next wave of cheesesteaks came, I would always tell people you can get a really good cheesesteak at a neighborhood pizza shop. And
Absolutely.
Angelo's has changed the game and become what that means. Like, they are a pizza shop that happens to have one of the best cheesesteaks, if not the best cheesesteak, depending on who you ask, in all of Philadelphia. But to grab that, eat it on the trunk of your car with Harper, with Victorino, like, that would be awesome. Now Bradley Cooper's doing something with them in New York,
Yeah.
which is nuts.
Why New York, Bradley? Bring it back here.
I know, right? Is Bradley Cooper a Philly guy?
He's a Philly suburb guy.
Yeah, that's true. He is. That's right. You're not a Philly guy, Bradley Cooper.
You're close.
We love you, but you're not. You're not.
Tell us your mom and pop store. If you don't have one, you're not from
Yeah.
Philly.
Tell us your zip code. Tell us the zip code of where you grew up at, because he's Jenkintown and Roslyn, I think, or something like that. I think he bopped them both. But it's funny how like we claimed them, just like how we kind of claimed T
Taylor
Swift.
Swift.
Yep, exactly. Even though she's from like Wyomissing.
Pink too.
Yeah, Pink. Yeah, Doylestown. But like we claim them as ours. But anybody else, because I've made the joke now, and I can make the joke myself because I no longer live in the city. But like, where you
I'm from Philly.
Yeah, where you from? Cherry Hill. And it's like, oh well. But if you're a celebrity, we'll claim you as ours. So, but I don't know. People are like, oh, Philly's own Bradley Cooper. I'm like,
Kinda.
yeah, maybe.
Close.
Sure. He's a couple bus stops away. I don't even know if the bus runs out to Jenkintown.
55, man.
Is
Right
it-
down Old
I
York
was
Road.
I was at 88 and 70 kids. Sometimes a 66. So
Oh, it was a 67 or 77.
oh, let's go. The bus. Oh, what was your favorite bus? My 88 got me to high school. So did 70 and 66. It just depended on where I wanted to go. But the 66 got me to college. Shout out to you, Holy Family, the Harvard of Frankfurt Avenue. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. It's the Harvard of Northeast Philly.
I mean, I can't dispute
right.
it. I got a bunch of friends that went there.
Yeah, there's only 2 colleges in Northeast Philly, Holy Family and the Community College of Philadelphia Northeast campus.
That's 100% true.
So there's that. Anywho, yeah, Bradley Cooper, not a Philly guy. What were we talking about last? The Phillies, where would you go? So, Angelo's for Bryce Harper or Angelo's for Bryce Harper and Shane Victorino?
Bryce Harper and Victorino.
That's pretty cool.
But I think I would take Victorino to Cafe Carmela.
Yes.
I think that, like, first off, I think it would blow everyone's minds. But I think he would just be, like, so down to earth about it. Be like, yeah, like, one of everything. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be like, all right, you're the foodie. You order. And I'd be like, hell yeah, Mr. Shane Victorino. Let's go.
Mr. Flying Hawaiian, we'll go there. So, as we're coming up on 10 minutes before an hour here, we're starting to wrap things up. Where have been a couple places in 2023 that you're like, these are spots that have been hidden gems that people need to go to?
So, not to keep on the Northeast Philly train, but we're gonna keep on the Northeast.
Please,
Philly
choo-choo.
train. Bishos and Le Souk in Fox Chase.
Okay.
It is a Middle Eastern owned restaurant. One side is like your shawarmas, your shawarma platters, your falafels. Just great.
Mhm.
They have like an interpretation of a cheesesteak. You don't even need it, man. It's just, they
Fair.
got these shawarma fries. Ugh.
Almost sounds like Schwarber, but
Shawarma, Schwarber. Maybe that's why.
There might be a collaboration that needs to happen there.
And then Le Souk Market is the right next to it, and it's like just there's teas and there's like spices, and it's all this like handmade Middle Eastern stuff. And they just started doing like bubble waffles and Turkish teas.
Ooh.
Just a nice place. The owners are super nice.
Is that the spot across from Wawa?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's reasonably priced. It's never wildly busy. It should be though.
Sure.
It should be out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you know, you know.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a great spot.
I love that.
They invited again like me and my family, and I've been back multiple times since, just cuz like if I need a meal, it'll be ready in 10 minutes and it'll be less than $15.
Wow. That's a steal meal right there.
It's a good meal.
Yeah, I love that. So I had just brought up Wawa. I'm just curious now. What you go to Wawa order?
I love a Wawa cheesesteak.
Really?
Honestly.
Okay.
Like,
you don't hear that often.
no. I don't think it's not the best.
Mm-hmm.
But my personal opinion, when Wawa changed its bread,
Mm-hmm.
everything about Wawa changed. And I just haven't really messed with the hoagies since. They just don't taste as good.
Oh, okay. So that's my go-to.
I don't like the bread anymore.
Okay.
So I would rather like go down to my local pizza place and
Mhm.
get like a good Amoroso roll or a Lucio's roll. You know, Wawa's now making their bread, and it's just,
Yeah, Wawa has pizza. So there's that.
I have not had that.
I have had it. It's the best way that I can describe it is that when all your other favorite pizza shops are closed and you're really jonesing for a pizza, it's a pretty good option. It's a pretty good option to have. I think the crust is slept on, but I think the sauce needs a little doctoring up. I think that's all it needs. But it's solid.
Wawa breakfast sandwiches are goat though.
Yeah, a sizzly.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a sizzly. every
I
day of the
miss 2 for $3 Sizzlies.
week.
Though.
Right now they're 2 for $5.
Inflation
I know.
strikes again.
It does. It gets us again. But Wawa had a sizzly that was essentially like a McGriddle with the syrup inside. Man, that thing goes crazy.
Yep,
Love that thing.
it's a good one.
Yeah, that with a nice little Wawa coffee.
The
Love it.
blueberry one.
Oh, God, speak to me. The Wawa blueberry coffee is one of the best coffees I've ever had. It should be year-round. But should it? Because then I don't have the excitement.
Then
that
you
it
don't
is.
have the excitement. It's
Yeah.
like pumpkin spice. If it's there all the time, you
know.
don't care.
I know. That's true.
My best friend at my full-time job, when that blueberry cobbler coffee was out,
Mm.
we used to go for walks, and she'd be like, "Let's not go for a walk today. Let's go to Wawa. I want to get that coffee."
It's the best. I love it so much.
She was. I was like, "Are you okay? This is like your 3rd cup today."
It's that good.
Yeah.
It's that, with a little French vanilla creamer, a little sugar.
Just
Oh, speak to me. Take me home. That's the one. Amanda, this has been an absolute blast.
it's been a great time. My first podcast.
Oh, there we go. Baby's first podcast. So, for the people who want to know more about these hidden gems that you find, whether it's Northeast Philadelphia, all over Philly, or the next time that you do a collaboration with any of the Phillies, where can they find you?
Instagram and TikTok, Philly Food and Bars with 2 R's.
Tell them that PFAB sent you. Well, guys, we're hitting the yellow button. That's all we got for today. Amanda, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. I greatly appreciate it. Have a great 2024. I'm excited to see what you do. Guys,
See you at Philly's Influencer Night.
that's right, you will. Guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know who we chatting with next. Peace!